this article, they said they feel that this research will find and show and prove that the antibodies produced by the camel can fight everything from cancer, which is, of course, is a life-threatening disease, to the common cold. Subhanallah. So this is the type of anticipation that the people have in England. This is in the UK now, way far away from the desert. The research is being carried out using camels at Woburn Safari Park. So there's a safari park there in the UK where they have a lot of camels, and then using just the camel's milk, okay? So they're not harming the camels. They're just taking some of the camel's milk and using the camel's milk as a form of research, inshallah. The article concluded by saying that the research offers exciting potentials. Exciting potentials. These are exact words, the last words of the scientist that was interviewed. And this guy is not a Muslim, and he's not from this part of the world. He's not from the desert. You know, the UK, as you know, sees sun maybe less than 30 days out of the year. It's a cold place. But just because of that, that doesn't mean that they cannot benefit from the great qualities of the camel. So people around the world, whether they live or exist in arid, hot climates or not, are still doing research on camels and camel's milk, okay? Because this thing has become so fascinating. And any true scientist, Muslim or not, that wants to improve the quality of life of human beings, you know, should look into this and should take note of this and should, you know, stay abreast as to the developments that are coming, because the developments are coming very rapidly. Now, we also want to look at an article from Palestine, A veterinarian expert has developed a camel farm in a joint venture with the Jordanian government. So this is a project that's being done jointly between the Jordanian government and the Palestinians. One objective is to increase the production of camel's milk in order to alleviate hunger. One of the first reasons that the scientists wanted to do this was because there is still a lot of hunger in that part of the world. There's a lot of poverty amongst the Palestinians and some of the surrounding places. But they have an abundance of camels. So one of the first intentions of this research is to figure out how they can increase the production of the camel's milk and use it as a form of nutrition, you see, in poor countries. And this is a very noble effort and a very practical effort. And it's done as a joint project between the Jordanians and the Palestinians, somewhere near the border, you see. So this is a joint project. Now, there was a very interesting finding. In one example, they found that the production of camel's milk has been increased from 1 liter per day in some camels up to 15 liters per day. Subhanallah. And some camels who were producing naturally only 1 liter per day, now these same camels are producing up to 15 liters of camel's milk per day. Subhanallah. Various vitamins and nutritional supplements and so forth. The lactation process has been boosted and increased and found to be, you know, changeable by the types of nutrients and vitamins and minerals that the camels are given. So by changing their diet and changing their nutritional status, they've been able to increase the production of milk by camels. Camel's milk also keeps up to 9 days in the refrigerator. If you look at milk from the store, which is cow's milk, the expiration date is usually 5 days from the date of production. Like, for instance, if it says 16th of May, then it will expire on the 20th for 5 days, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 5 days. You know, you go to any store here in the Emirates, anywhere in the world, and you look at cow's milk, and you look at the date it was produced, and then you look at the expiration date, you will see there's a 5-day gap, a 5-day period where they say this milk is safe to drink. After that, it can become dangerous to drink. Now, if you have a refrigerator that really works well, you might get 6 days. If you got a refrigerator that's not working so well, you might only get 3 or 4 days before the milk starts to spoil. Camel's milk can stay fresh up to 9 days in the refrigerator. That's almost twice the time of cow's milk. Cow's milk is 5 days. Camel's milk is 9 days. So, you know, it lasts longer when refrigerated. And there's some other qualities too. Unlike cow's milk, camel's milk does not separate when frozen. So if you put cow's milk in the freezer and try to freeze it, it separates off. The milk and the water separates out from the fat and so forth, and protein. Camel's milk, if you put it in the freezer, it does not separate. Which means it also can be stored longer by freezing. It is not affected by freezing. Cow's milk separates if you put it in the freezer. Try it. Get some cow's milk and put some in a plastic container, put it in the freezer. See what happens. Then you get some camel's milk, put it in a plastic container, put it in the freezer, see what happens. You'll find that the camel's milk does not separate, but the cow's milk does. This is a very simple experiment that you can do at home, and just to see the difference in quality between camel's milk and cow's milk. Now, this research, which was started in Jordan and Philistine, has now spread to China and northern Kenya. These same scientists have developed now research centers also there's some parts of China, in southern China they have camels, and in northern Kenya, and I've been to that area of Guriza, Wajir, and Mandera, and Ramu. I have visited those areas on behalf of His Highness Dr. Sheikh Sultan bin Muhammad Al Qasmi, the ruler of Sharjah, and I saw with my own eyes just a proliferation of camels in that area. So northern Kenya has a lot of camels. One time, years ago, it used to be part of Somalia, for those of you that did not know. And southern China also has a proliferation of camels. So in those areas, research is also being done by these same people that started the research in Jordan and Philistine. So now they have 3 research centers in the world. One that's in the Middle East, in Jordan, near the Philistinian border of Jordan, Philistine. And also in northern Kenya, which is near the borders of Ethiopia and Somalia, and in southern China. So these are some of the research articles. I just want to give you an overview, okay? And these are some of the older articles. In the future programs, we're going to talk about some of the newer research. This is some of the first initial research about camel's milk and about their qualities that was done. This research started back in 2002 and 2003. But in the coming weeks, we're going to give you some more up-to-date research and show you what has happened just in these few years. It's amazing. The thing about it is, we know that modern medicine is very effective, but we also know that the medicines are expensive. The medicines are also very powerful. The medicines also have a lot of side effects. The more powerful the medicine, the more side effects. A good example is chemotherapy for cancer. Now, cancer is in the top 5 causes of death throughout the world. In some countries, it's number 2. In some countries, it's number 1. Some countries, it's number 3. Right here in the UAE, it's number 3. Okay, in some parts of Russia near the Ukraine, it's still number 1, where they had the Chernobyl disaster. In America, you see it's number 2, next to heart disease. So cancer is a very great killer of human beings. And the chemotherapy, which is actually a form of poison, is effective, but it has a lot of side effects. So that's a good example. And we're almost out of time. I'm going to mention this one point. Some of the earliest research on camel's milk was done in Central Asia, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and those areas. They found, Kurdistan, they found that when patients had cancer and they were getting chemotherapy, if they were drinking camel's milk along with the chemotherapy, then the results of the chemotherapy was better, and the side effects of the poisonous aspects of the chemotherapy was less. So camel's milk increased the effectiveness of chemotherapy, and it decreased the side effects of chemotherapy. So that's enough said right there. Subhanallah. Of course, we always entertain your questions and comments. You can write me in Medicine in Islam, P.O. Box 111, Sharjah Television, Sharjah, UAE. Or you may send me a fax, 9716-5311969, 9716-5311969. Or as most people choose to do, you may send me an email at medman@emirates.net.ae. That's medman, M-E-D-M-A-N, at emirates.net.ae. And as our custom on Medicine in Islam, we like to conclude all of our programs with a short dua, a short prayer of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, such that if any errors or mistakes are made on this program. And most importantly, if any sins have been committed on this program, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His infinite mercy and grace will forgive us. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah reward you with the very best Islam.